back to the channel. We're on a great day. Today is such an exciting day because to my left, we have the all-new C8 Corvette Z06. Next to my McLaren 600 LT, and today I'm gonna give you unbiased feedback regarding how they compare. We're gonna battle it out on these roads up here. It's really crazy because we have delivered on the Ferrari owner's perspective, the Lamborghini owner's perspective. Now we're gonna deliver on this new Corvette Z06 versus McLaren, the British supercar that is right up there going head to head against Lambo and Ferrari. This new Corvette, again, is America's first ever, I would say, supercar that is pinned at going against these modern Lamborghinis and Ferraris, other than the Ford GT. The Ford GT is not really accessible like the Corvette is, though this is really hard to get, I must admit. Right away, backing up, what do you think of these two cars right next to each other? It's blowing my mind seeing them next to each other finally out in the open. The styling cues of the all-new Z06, there's just so many more angles. It's got the American track car formula. It reminds me almost of the Viper ACR with the big dive planes up front, the massive radiators for cooling, you name it. When it comes to the European cars, as you can see, they get much more, I would say, rounded off, more sleek. There's less aero kind of tacked on. It's more blended in with the body. But again, that is just the styling differences that you see a lot when it comes to the Ferraris, the McLarens versus the American track cars. A lot of people may not know, but the windshield is actually a downforce for these mid-engine supercars because the way they're laid out, they're so horizontal, I would say, pointed out towards where the front axle is, that since they're resting right above and bit forward, the air is pushing down on it, sticking down these front tires. So the Corvette team learned that when they transferred over to the mid-engine platform. They're not quite there yet. As you can see, the windshield is still a bit more further back than it comes to the McLaren. However, I do want to touch base on how big the Corvette is side by side with the McLaren. Let me back all the way up. I have to say the styling is very different with these two cars again because all the body panels on the McLaren are shrink wrapped as close and low as possible. So all you really have here in the back is your engine, your exhaust system, all the aero needed, and then the entire team wanted to save as much weight as possible by getting everything close and slimmed down together. There's no excess, there's no body fat on the McLaren. Though with the Corvette, they really tried making a jack of all trades, whereas the body, instead of wrapping down low, it's a couple inches taller in the back because they're giving you a huge trunk out back. Then you also have a front, so there's plenty of storage space with the Z06 versus every other supercar on the market. Is that a compromise? I think so. Let me know, what do you think in the comment section down below. Hey, I'm allowed to call out things that I think are a bit excessive. This car could look way more aggressive, I think, if there wasn't so much space out back for golf clubs. I don't need it, but some owners want it, so hey, no hard feelings. I still love the car, love both cars. Let's continue on with it. Since you do have the engine back here, it's really easy to access it since the entire hatch opens up. Again though, look at all this excess space. Is there anything like that with the McLaren? No, it's just the exhaust tips, the engine sitting down low, and the body just ends there. It's a physically smaller vehicle again. Even the wheelbase is a few inches shorter as well. The good thing is though, having all this space back here, we can take off that roof whenever we want, pop it back out, and we have a convertible. I can't do that with this carbon tub supercar. It seems right away this car is much more livable, doesn't it? I think so. And let's continue on with the rest of the vehicles from the exterior side of things. Then let's take them out and see how they drive back to back. Mike Ward, I want to give you an update. I have 4,000 miles now with the LT6. I've taken it to the racetrack. I've taken half-mile racing, gone across the country, and no problem. So hey, you've done a great job building this car. Closing the back hatch, the Corvette team actually had to position the rear spoiler further back so your hand can lift up the hatch. It would be much wider, I think, if the hatch wouldn't be there. You see in the middle how the spoiler is going down and then back up? This is to give you better rear view visibility with the camera out back. The Corvette definitely is winning in the wheel and tire department. Carbon fiber wheels, 21 inch tall, I think 13 inches wide, featuring a 345/25 by 21 tire. The tires on the 600 are much smaller, much skinnier from the factory. Again, you don't have all this visible exterior aero just tacked on the 600 LT. I wonder if the front end grip will not feel as aggressive and planted because it does not have as much downforce. Oh yeah, and check out the corners of my tires. This is what happens after one track day. I think it was 2 sessions on track with the Z06. This is gonna be the most worn Cup 2R you'll ever see for a Z06 currently, until more owners take it to the racetrack. Look how sticky that is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this throws up rocks all the time. I know this is not gonna be the usual side-by-side comparison video. I just wanna have more fun with it. I wanna get in the cars and get going because the best way I can show you how they are side by side on the street is by driving them and really getting that entire experience captured in these amazing mountain roads. They right away do not feel similar. I gotta highlight that a lot. So when people walk up to me and ask me, hey Austin, which one would you take home and drive every day if you could only have one? Would it be the McLaren or the Corvette? I can't just tell you, because if I were to quickly give you an example, this is more like the ACR Viper vibe of things, and this is a legitimate like 720S type style. Let's see how this compares back to back. First time I've really done this. Let's do it. You see the carbon fiber exposed on the very bottom. Don't scratch that. That's why you have mats. Be very careful. This is a vehicle that you gotta be careful with because it's just, you know, it's like jewelry almost. It's a fine item, and I'll be honest. The build quality is of no concerns. The biggest myth that I'm so happy that I've busted online is that McLarens have issues. No issues for me whatsoever. Here we go. With the 600 LT, and you notice it right away. The vehicle, it's very, very light, and turning in, it's just so easy. The steering is extremely light, and you'll never find the limit of the grip. You'll never find the limit of the grip in this car. And it's got something called brake steer, where it's applying the brakes in the rear end where the tail brakes are, and it helps you turn in faster for a corner. Therefore, the turn in with this vehicle is probably one of the best that I've ever seen on a production car. And when the sun drops a bit more, it'll shoot flames the entire time. The vehicle is so intuitive to drive. It just wraps around you as a driver. It's so lightweight. It's just raw. The downshifts give you an amazing pop, turning in, accelerating. It doesn't have this turbo lag that's gonna ruin the entire experience. No, I think all the comments I hear online about turbo lag being so bad in exotic cars is blown out of proportions by people that probably don't even like them in the first place. The pops are wild. This is a car that's easy to drive fast. It never tells you or shows you that it weighs a significant amount, because it doesn't. A full tank of gas with this car, it weighs less than 3,000 pounds. That means this car is over 600 pounds, well 660 pounds lighter than the Corvette. And you can feel it. It feels like a feather. And the turn and feel again. If the car kicks out, from my experience, it's one of the easiest experiences to catch. It doesn't give you the feeling that it's got a pendulum effect when it kicks at the back end where, oh my gosh, I can't retrieve it. No, this is smooth and it's agile. Plus, if you really want to use all of what the car has, turn off all traction control, and the experience is still easy. The thrust is insane. It definitely has more acceleration, more punch, more pull than the Z06 does for the top end. I think on Auto Club Speedway, the top speed on this was about 8 miles an hour faster than the Z06 was. I think it's because of the aero limitations on the Z06. it shifts, the backfire, the pops that you get. This engine is amazing. I really love it. Even though it's turbocharged, it supposedly makes less power. I think it does make less power than the Z06. I dynoed the Z06 at 610. This car, I believe, on the dyno will make roughly 600 wheel. Somewhere around there. Let me know in the comment section if you've dynoed a 600 LT before. The beauty that the McLarens have nailed is that they are the king of the power to weight supercars, meaning they weigh next to nothing and they can accelerate much faster than cars that have more horsepower. It's a pure driver's car being inside this vehicle. It's an extension of me, and I feel like I know exactly what every inch of the vehicle is doing, what that corner is doing, what that corner is doing. It's all synced up. I say this comment all the time with the 600 LT, it feels like pure telepathy. The inputs are tuned so that they're more stiff, you can put more effort into it. However, you can dial in the car extremely easily for however you want to drive. Depending on what corner you're going into, the brake feeling is much more stiff, more hard. Though when you hit it, it's not going to clamp down where you decelerate too much. This is about decelerating as minimally as possible. But then when you want to brake hard, oh, that's the easiest part. Just clamp it down. Another advantage for the 600 is that the hydraulic steering, the hydraulic steering, I can feel every ounce of the road, all the imperfections, all the feedback for these front tires. The car is so communicative. How is it so fast? That's why you're on a McLaren. That's why. It's a spaceship. You'll never see a car like this ever again. Let's get the Corvette. All right, here we go. Time for the Corvette. Let's do this. I'm gonna pop it into Z mode, my favorite mode that I've customized. The car does feel physically heavier, but the power is much more instantaneous. I do wonder how the McLaren is so much faster on the top straightaways, for example at Auto Club, being almost 170 versus the 160 I hit in this car. I'm thinking it's because of the aero limitations at high speed, because going through these corners, the pickup and go feels very similar from normal, let's say 30 miles an hour and up. I think you would really notice the difference over 100 miles an hour, though we're not going to do that here today. Be very careful at the back end, because when these Cup 2s are cold, when the Cup 2Rs are cold, the entire experience changes drastically. Wow, this car is wild. It sounds so good. The downshifts. How is this a Corvette? What? It feels like a European car, but it does have its American flair with the heated steering wheel, the heated seats right now. It is a physically bigger car. I feel like it's significantly bigger being inside. I think the downforce is going to have a very much of an edge on some tracks because it's so much static grip at all times. This tied, I think, the STO in the figure 8 and beat the Senna with Motor Trend, which is unreal. Check out their story if you haven't seen it. Accelerating, wow, the torque comes on way more strong. Taking these corners, yeah, it is heavier. You feel the weight. I think that's why the acceleration feels neck and neck on the streets, because when the torque kicks in, it throws you back more. Top end, there's more pull for sure in the McLaren. I think the downforce is going to really give this car an edge at all times in the racetrack. Wow, it's just so raspy and raw. Downshift. The brakes feel way more instantaneous, the carbon ceramics. I will pull them off probably, I think, with this car because it costs so much money, a ton of money to replace for the track. The bite is as good as any exotic car. This car gives you the performance of feedback of an exotic. Is more digital. It is, it's electronic, it's not hydraulic. You can't feel the bumps on the road, for example, or the imperfections quite like a hydraulic rack. For example, right now it's just buttery smooth. You can feel like a little bit of vibrations holding it. There's no engine vibrations in the car, really, like I'm feeling the car. It feels like a GM, well-built product. I would say Lamborghini-ish for a Huracan, where it doesn't vibrate on the inside. The engine is there, but it's not rattling you. Okay, there we have it. Just got out of the Z06 with the McLaren right before that. A lot of fun. I really can tell a lot of differences. This is not trying to be a McLaren by any means. This car feels 1,000 pounds lighter because the carbon fiber, I mean, everything with it, it should feel this way for costing 100 grand more. You got to realize that. The Corvette team wasn't trying to beat all the exotics. They're trying to be stated in the same sentence, and they've done a great job. This feels more fun to me than a lot of Ferraris. This is right up there with all the supercars on the racetrack. It's got all the grip, all the downforce. The driving experiences are fundamentally different. This is like a Viper ACR. It's a bigger vehicle, right, compared to the McLaren, and you have a lot of downforce always sitting there ready to go. This feels more like a go-kart when you're driving it. You feel more of the vibrations, more of the feedback. It's more raw, but more like noises going on all times. If you want that experience, get this. You won't want this if you want to daily your car every day on the street or have a livable experience. You don't have a wireless phone charger in the McLaren. You know, you don't have a heated seat. At least I don't. I have Senna seats. Those are racing bucket seats, okay? The Corvette is unreal how it can tackle all these different things as all the attributes to make it the ultimate all-around, I think, naturally aspirated supercar. In summary, I can't really choose which one I like better. They're both that good. That says a lot about the Corvette, and it says a lot about the McLaren, and that's why I'm gonna keep both. They are amazing in their own ways. In summary, let me know, what do you like better? The raw, uncompromised track experience, or do you like the all-around ultimate balance? Great choices, right? Very different. That is why I cannot choose one over the other. I think I can bounce back and forth depending on the kind of track I'm going to see which one I want to track there more. Anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button to help me out and subscribe for much more great content coming out your way. Stay tuned for the track battles. We're going to the track this upcoming weekend. It's raining today and tomorrow, and then we're back at the content nonstop. So stay tuned for that. Subscribe again. I'll see all of you in the next episode.